The same night I got laid off after 12 years at my company, my dad started packing my things into cardboard boxes, while my sister celebrated getting my room back. My mom said I was bringing negative energy and needed to figure my life out. They had no idea that for the last 3 years, while I was quietly paying their bills, I had been the secret majority owner of the company that had just acquired their biggest client for $2.3 million. My name is Claire Montgomery. I'm 31 years old, and this is how I stopped being the family ATM. The fluorescent lights in the conference room at Ashford and Graves buzzed louder than usual that Tuesday afternoon. My manager sat across from me with an HR rep I'd never seen before. A thin folder with my name on the tab rested between them. "Company-wide restructuring," he said. "We're eliminating 40% of the analytics division." 12 years, not a single bad review. I had brought in 3 of their top 10 clients. None of that fit inside the folder. I signed the papers, took the cardboard box they offered, and walked out by noon. In the parking garage, I sat in my car for 11 minutes and counted every second. Then I called Greg Whitmore, my business partner. "I got laid off," I said. Greg didn't miss a beat. "Then it's time, Claire. The Austin office is ready. When do you fly down?" I should have said tomorrow. Instead, I said, "Let me go home first. Let me tell my family." Greg went quiet. "Claire, you sure about that?" I wasn't, but I drove the 45 minutes south to Carterville anyway. When I pulled into the driveway, I counted the cars. Mom's, Dad's, my sister Brooke's, and Aunt Patty's old Buick. Company meant witnesses. I hadn't even closed the screen door when Brooke's voice carried from the living room. "So it's true, you got fired?" She was sitting cross-legged on the recliner, phone in hand, looking at me like I was a minor car accident on the highway. Curious, not concerned. "Laid off," I said. "There's a difference." "Whatever." Brooke turned to Mom. "Mom, I told you, who's gonna pay my car loan now?" My mother, Linda Montgomery, sat on the couch next to Aunt Patty with a plate of lemon squares between them. Mrs. Dawson, from next door, occupied the armchair by the window. 3 women, 3 witnesses, and not one of them flinched at Brooke's question. Mom set her tea down. "Claire, sit. We need to talk." Her tone wasn't worried, it was administrative. "How did you already know?" I asked. Brooke shrugged. "Tyler's girlfriend works reception at Ashford. She texted me this morning." They had known for hours. They had sat in this living room, eaten lemon squares, and discussed my layoff before I even cleared my desk. Mom folded her hands. "Here's the situation. Brooke needs a proper room now that she's pregnant. You're barely home anyway. You work late, you travel. It makes more sense for her to have your room." "You want me to move out?" "I want you to think about your sister." Brooke pulled her legs up. "You don't have kids. You don't have a husband. You're flexible." I looked at Aunt Patty. She was staring at her teacup. Mrs. Dawson had stopped pretending to check her phone. "When did you decide this?" I asked. Mom didn't blink. "This morning." This morning. While I was still at my desk clearing out 12 years of work, my mother was already rearranging the house to erase me from it. I walked down the hall and opened my bedroom door. Half my bookshelf was empty. The framed photo of my college graduation, the only picture of me on any wall in this house, was gone. The nail hole was still there. Dad was already in the room with a flat cardboard box. He popped it open, set it on the bed, and started placing my things inside. Folded shirts, the jewelry box from Grandma Ruth, the coffee mug from my first day at Ashford. "Dad!"
He didn't look up. "Dad, look at me!" His hand stopped, but his eyes stayed on the box. "Your sister needs this house more than you do, Claire. You'll be fine. You're always fine." 4 words, and in them the entire story of how my family saw me. Claire pays the mortgage. She's fine. Claire covers the insurance. She's fine. Claire co-signs the loan. She's fine. Claire gets laid off and evicted on the same day. She'll be fine. I carried both boxes to my car, one in each arm, past the living room where my mother sat with her hands still folded. Nobody followed me outside. I drove 11 miles before pulling into a Chevron station off Highway 41. I sat there with the engine running and cried. Not loud, just quiet, steady tears for the girl who had spent 15 years sending money home and never once been asked if she was okay. Then I called Greg. "The Austin office," I said. "Is there room for me? I've had a desk with your name on it for 6 months. I was just waiting." That night, I booked a flight for the next morning. What my family didn't know, what none of them knew, was that for the last 3 years, while I was paying their mortgage, their insurance, and Brooke's endless car loans, I had been the silent majority owner of a small but fast-growing logistics software company. It started as a side project with Greg, a better way for small trucking firms to manage routes, fuel, and compliance. We kept it quiet. I kept my day job for the health insurance and the steady paycheck that funded everyone else's life. By the time Ashford laid me off, Whitmore Logistics Solutions had 4 employees, a small office in Austin, and had just signed a $2.3 million acquisition deal with one of the largest regional carriers in the Southeast, the same carrier that happened to be my father's biggest client at the lumber yard where he worked part-time. They had no idea the company that was about to buy their biggest client was half owned by the daughter they had just packed into cardboard boxes. I landed in Austin on a Wednesday morning. Greg picked me up. By Thursday, I had a key to the office on East 6th Street, exposed brick, tall windows, and a desk with my name already on it. I found a small 1-bedroom apartment 3 blocks away. I slept on an air mattress the first night with the window open, listening to Austin traffic and feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Space. The first 2 weeks were quiet. No calls from my mother, no texts from my father, no messages from Brooke asking where I was or if I had somewhere to sleep. On day 16, Brooke finally texted. "So, my car insurance is due next week. Can you handle it?" I stared at the message for a long time, then replied with 4 words. "I'm in Austin now." Her reply came fast. "Okay, cool. So about the insurance?" I didn't answer. That night, I sat in my empty apartment and did the thing I should have done years earlier. I opened my banking app and looked at every recurring payment going to Carterville, Georgia. Mortgage, $2,400. Dad's insurance, $780. Brooke's car loan, $650. Total, $3,830 every single month. I created a professional email, clear, calm, no emotion. Subject line, financial transition, 30-day notice. I listed every payment, gave them 30 days notice, and offered to help Dad with the insurance marketplace application for an extra 60 days so he wouldn't lose coverage. I signed it simply, Claire Montgomery. Then I hit send. The storm arrived before sunrise. 14 missed calls from Mom, 6 from Brooke, 2 from Dad. A flood of texts. Mom, "Joanna Marie, you call me right now." Brooke, "WTF, Claire, you can't just cut me off." Dad, "Call your mother." Not one message asked if I was okay. Not one asked where I was sleeping. I saved every message. 6 weeks later, the Austin office held its grand opening. Exposed brick walls, string lights, good coffee, and 52 guests, clients, local business owners, and a reporter from the Austin Business Journal. Grandma Ruth flew in. She was 82, sharp as ever, and insisted on an aisle seat. Greg drove her from the airport himself. I stood at the front and spoke for 10 minutes about starting small, about building something real, about the people who believed in the vision when no one else did. I thanked Greg, the team, and then I looked straight at Grandma Ruth. And I want to thank my grandmother, who taught me that helping people is beautiful, but knowing when to stop is wisdom. The room applauded. Ruth lifted her hand in a small wave, eyes shining. 40 minutes in, the energy in the room shifted. My mother walked through the door first, hair done, church dress on. Brooke followed in jeans and a borrowed jacket. Dad lingered at the threshold like he wasn't sure the floor would hold him. Mom scanned the room, the logo on the wall, the desks, the crowd of people who knew my name. Then she walked straight to me. "Claire, why did you hide this from us?" I set my water glass down. "Mom, you packed my things before I even got home from the layoff. You changed the locks. You didn't call me for 2 weeks, and now you want to know why I didn't share my life with you?" The conversations around us slowed. People lowered their drinks. Brooke stepped forward. "So you had money this whole time and you let them take my car? The car I co-signed for? The car I asked you not to buy 2 years ago?" Mom's voice rose. "After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done?" I kept my voice even. "I paid your mortgage for 7 years. I paid Dad's insurance for 9 years. I co-signed Brooke's car loan. And the night I lost my job, you packed my boxes and told me to leave." The room went very still. From her seat, Grandma Ruth's voice cut through clearly.
"Linda, this is not your place. Step outside." My mother turned white. Brooke started crying, the loud, performative kind. Dad just stood there, shoulders heavy, staring at the sign above my desk that read, "Claire Montgomery, co-founder." Greg quietly opened the front door. My family left without another word. Later that night, after the last guest had gone, I sat with Grandma Ruth in the empty office. The string lights were still on. She took my hand. "I'm proud of you, Claire, not because of the company, because you finally stopped carrying people who only loved what you could give them." I laughed softly. It hurt and it healed at the same time. In the months that followed, the consequences settled. The mortgage on the Carterville house went 2 months delinquent. My parents had to take in a renter for the upstairs bedrooms. Brooke lost the car and had to start riding with Mom everywhere. She eventually got a job at a garden center, her first steady paycheck in years. Dad and I talk every couple of weeks now. Short calls, careful ones. He started saying, "I'm sorry," more often. It's small, but it's real. Mom and I haven't spoken since the grand opening. I left the door open, but I'm not holding it for her. Brooke sent me a photo one afternoon, no request for money, just a picture of a small plant she'd grown on her balcony. I saved it. I still work long hours, but they're my hours now. The money stays in my account, the decisions are mine. And every Sunday morning, I call Grandma Ruth. She always answers on the first ring. Some tables get smaller when you stop paying for everyone's seat. Mine did. But the ones left at my table actually see me. If you've ever been the person quietly funding everyone else's life while they treated your effort like air, invisible until it was gone, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to stop. Stopping doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you finally love yourself the same way you've been loving everyone else. And if that scares them, if they call you selfish or ungrateful, remember, they're not mourning you. They're mourning the convenience of you. There's a difference. My name is Claire Montgomery. I'm 31 years old. I run a company I built while everyone else thought I was just fine. I sleep in a home I pay for with money that stays mine. I talk to my father every couple of weeks. I saved a photo of my sister's plant. And for the first time in my life, I'm not fine for everyone else. I'm finally free.